Now, ever since 2022, right, the Ukraine has been requesting long-range missiles from NATO, right, particularly to target the supply lines and logistics and try and disrupt this for the Russian army in this war. So yes, they have been. It's not something new. So they have been asking for long-range weapons, particularly from 2022. And eventually, on the 17th of November 2024, the Biden administration basically gave permission to Zelensky, right, to the Ukrainian army to start using long range weapons or long range missiles to target and strike deep into Russia. Now, so it means that the US will be delivering missiles that are basically known as ATACMS, right, which are short for Army Tactical um, Missile Systems, right, that have a range or can travel a distance of about 300 kilometers, right? So this is what the Biden administration had allowed. Now, because the US administration under the Biden administration allowed this, it means France must follow suit. It means France will be delivering the Scalp EG cruise missile, which is also a long range cruise missile that has a range of about 250 kilometers to about 400 kilometers, right? It also means the UK must also now start delivering long range weapons to Ukraine, right? Um, the UK will be delivering a missile that is basically known as the Storm Shadow missile, the Storm Shadow cruise missile, that basically has a range or can travel a distance of about 560 kilometers. Now, just a brief footnote, right? Now, the long range cruise missiles, right, that are being currently delivered, right? The ATACMS, the Storm Shadow missiles, the Scalp EG, right? The Ukrainian army has been using these long range weapons, particularly to target, right, areas within the occupied Ukrainian area, right? So they were allowed to use these long range weapons on occupied areas that were under the Russian authority, right? So they were able to use, for example, the Storm Shadow and the Scalp EG, right, to target military installations in Crimea, right? They were able to use it to target military depots in Kherson, right? They were also allowed to use this thing in Zaporizhia. I can also include Donbas, which include two sub-regions known as the Luhansk region and the Donetsk region. So the long range were used in this area, but they allowed the Ukrainian army to basically use these long range weapons to target the mainland Russia. Now they can direct their long range cruise missiles to target um, military installations and storage facilities within Russia, not the occupied Ukrainian area, right, under the Russian control, but the mainland of Russia. Now, in the process of the Biden administration allowing the use of long range weapons or long range cruise missile into Russian territory to strike deep into Russian territory, they also offered the Ukrainians some landmines, right, which would help the Ukrainians, particularly in Kherson, right, to help them in preventing the advancement of tanks to take over Ukrainian territory.